Hello, this is Mayor Baraka. Welcome to the Mayor's Vlog. This week we have some very important things to discuss. One, the 24 Hours of Peace and the Occupy the City movement that happened a few weeks ago. And I also want to talk about the incident of the young man who was approached by Newark police in the city of Newark. I mean, there unfortunately have been a lot of folks on social media saying why do the 24 Hours of Peace, kind of making mockery of the 24 Hours of Peace because violence took place in the city. It's unfortunate because it plays into the same kind of dialogue and narrative that most people who do not live in our city want to see us dealing with. The media, the press, folks who don't live here would rather us wallow in defeat and not do anything but be on social media and report all of the terrible things that happen in the city of Newark so they could live out this narrative of Newark being this helpless place where people are violent and dangerous, where nothing good comes out of. And we all know, people who live here in the city, that is absolutely not the truth. That great people and great things come out of Newark every single day. In fact, I was just at Rutgers yesterday congratulating the Rutgers debate team, who was named number 10 or in the top 10 in the nation. Most of those kids coming from Newark public schools. So we know this narrative to be false, but we continue to allow them to perpetuate this, on us every single day. But it's up to us to fight against that. The same music and culture that teach our kids violence, that praise criminal behavior and activity and drugs and guns, we have to push back against that. And we push back against that by creating a positive culture, by creating or pushing positive music, positive ideas, by creating a movement around peace. The same way you feel like it's a movement around violence and death and gangs in our community, we have to push an alternate movement, a movement around peace, around love, around respect for community, around unity. Those are the things that we have to be about. And when we on social media, that's what we need to be talking about. That's what we need to be saying, how we are unified and what are we doing to fight the violence and the crime every day in our community. And if you don't think the 24 Hours of Peace is working like you think it should work, then you should get involved in it and make it work. You should make it bigger and get more people interested in it to make it a movement so people in their communities and their household will begin to think about peace, will begin to think about unity in their community. This is the first step to creating a movement. Somebody began first creating this culture of violence. And so we have to respond by creating a culture of peace and love. And that's what 24 Hours of Peace is. And that's what Occupy the City is. We don't have any expectations that there'll be no violence in the city because we marched. But we do have an expectation that because we marched, because we came together, that the people of Newark will come together, that the good people, that the conscious people, that the majority of Newarkers will come together and unify around peace, around love, around community. And that message and that feeling and that idea will permeate every block, every family, every household, every living room. And we need your help to make that happen. Secondly, all my life I've been fighting against police brutality, even as a child, marching for Danette Strawberry Daniels, fighting for the Civilian Police Review Board, which is why we have a Civilian Police Review Board now in the city of Newark that we desperately need to get up and functioning. I have always held the police accountable, throughout my entire life, and as the mayor, putting civilians in charge of internal affairs, fighting for a new matrix, creating a review board, doing a different thing, cooperating with the Department of Justice to make sure that Newark police officers respond to the community, creating community clergy in our city. All of the things that we're trying to do to create peace between and respect for life and for humanity by our police, for the citizens and residents of this city. And we're going to continue to do that. And we're going to do it no matter what happens, no matter the mistakes, no matter how many times we fall down, we're going to get up and we're going to make that happen. That is who I am, and people know me, who know me personally, know that's what I believe in, and that's what I'm going to fight for, no matter what is said or done. When I ran for mayor, I said, when I become mayor, we become mayor. And I think some people meant that they would come into City Hall and make the decisions and push the buttons and make the phone calls. But that's not what we intended. Obviously, I'm in charge of the police. I make decisions here. I'm in charge of engineering. I'm in charge of the water. I'm in charge of everything. What I'm saying, in essence, is that the city is all of ours, that it belongs to all of us collectively, from the block you live on to the waterfront to the seaport to the airport, that all of it belongs to us, which means that we all have a responsibility to make sure that these assets that we have in Newark work for us. What does it mean? It means that we don't allow the press or reporters to put us against one another, right? When I'm having a promotional ceremony for officers, holding them accountable to make them go out into the community, not a press conference, but a promotional ceremony, that we don't allow the press to come in between us to create the kind of damage that they want to create, because they don't love you and they don't love me. They love their story. The idea is that we love each other and we love this city. It means that when there's garbage on the street, you pick it up and you don't throw it down. It means when the garbage is not picked up on your block, that you call sanitation, that you call the mayor's office until we do something about it. It means that when you see police officers on the street who are not doing what they're supposed to do, that you actually call internal affairs, that you actually call the city hall, that you actually make a report at the police department, and that you hold them accountable. When there are people on your block, when there are young kids on your block who seem lost, that you talk to them, that you engage them, that you tell them that they should get a job. And if they don't know how to do it, that you find information to help them to do it, that you know the neighbors on your block, that you actually go to PTA meetings, right? That you enroll your child in preschool, that you are part of the community block association, that you're part of the tenant association meetings. That's what We Become Mayor means. It means that when there's a community meeting, that you're present, that you're not just angry on Facebook, that when there's a community engagement meeting, that you come and you express your anger, you express your frustration, that you talk about what's happening at community meetings, that you show up to the school board meeting, that you participate in school board functions, that you're there dealing with your child and dealing with the adults there who are supposed to be educating your children. It means that you come to council meetings. It means that you're a part of all of the positive things that are going on in the city, that you come out to Centers of Hope and help us educate kids, that when things are wrong on your block, that you express yourself, that you help the police when they need help in solving crimes in your community so more crimes don't exist in your community, that you keep your area clean, that you talk to your neighbors about keeping their area clean, that you shop in the city of Newark, that you spend your money here in the community. And when we march to the port to get our residents jobs, that you support that. Either you support it on Facebook or social media, that you actually come and physically support that because it benefits your city and your community. That you just don't use the thousands of people that you have access to on social media to gossip or talk bad or negative about the city that you live in, that you grew up in, that your family lives in, that you're raising your family in, that you do whatever you can to make people understand that Newark is the best thing we have. It is all we have. And we'll do anything to protect it, to make sure that it's beautiful and make sure that it's working for us in this city. That we make sure our kids are getting a decent education. That you send your kids to summer employment so that they work. And if it's not happening the way that you think it should happen, that you call us and you demand better for your child. That's what We Become Mayor means. It means that you're engaged in every aspect of this city. That you walk around with your head up and your chest out and you say, I'm a Newark resident and I'm fighting for Newark because this is the city that I love. And when the mayor does things, we're going to support him. And if the mayor is not doing what we need him to do, we're going to come down to City Hall. We're going to talk to him. We're going to engage him. We're going to engage the elected officials to make sure the city is moving in the direction that we need to be moving in. But we're not going to be on the sidelines because democracy is a participation sport. And we need you involved in everything that we do. And most of all, we don't allow folks who benefit from seeing us struggle with one another, fight with one another, tear each other apart for greater ratings for themselves, for more notoriety for themselves, at the expense of this city. We don't need them to win. We want to win. We just don't want to fight. We need to have a pathway to victory. And we do that collectively. We can't do that apart. We can't do that separately. We have to do it together. That's what when I become mayor, we become mayor means. It means that I give you power, that we empower the people of this city to control their own destiny, to have a say-so in their own lives, right? That's what we're saying. And we need you to be a part of that. And I need your help to get that to take place. And you don't have to listen to third parties or fourth parties or fifth parties about what I think, what I believe, or what I'm doing. You have the right to come down here and ask me yourself. You have the ability to come to community meetings and engage me yourself. You should listen to what it is that we're trying to get done. And if you agree with it, get involved and help us to make it better. If you don't agree, express your concerns about it and get us to do it better so that all of us can benefit from the direction that this city is going in. We won't accept failure, and we'll never go backward. We're always going to move forward towards success, and I'm always going to be optimistic about this city, because you can't take people to a better place if you don't see it first. Thank you.